Just to, do the best I can do, be the best I can be the best tight end I can be. And if I do that, I think I'll be okay.
Where did you feel you needed to improve?
Everything, really, I didn't master anything yet. So I figured, work on the run blocking, pass blocking, catching, route running, all the above.
And how do you fit into this offense and this scheme when all the attention so far is going to OBJ, Jarvis? What about David?
That's a funny question. So yeah, I just control what I can control. I just, be the best I can be, like I said, and let everything else take care of itself.
What's it like though, looking out there? You're looking to your right or your left, and you see 80, you see 13. And
it's very exciting. They're tremendous athletes. Great route runners, great receivers. So I'm so ecstatic just to have them, by my side. It makes me really excited.
What do you have to do to have the kind of season that you want to have, and what kind of season do you want to have this year?
Say that first question again.
What do you need to do to have the kind of season that you want?
What do I need to do? I need to control what I can control. Control on what I do, which is being a tight end, blocking, catching, running routes and everything that I do. And if I do that to the best of my ability, I think we'll have.
I think the biggest thing coming into the camp in the first place was trying to find some consistency with David in really every aspect of his game. And I think probably he's had days where it was better. He's had days where it's kind of the ebb and flow that kind of he's maybe experienced some in the past. I do think, and he and I had a discussion this morning, I think he's ascending in terms of what he's doing. I think it's a big thing, and especially start with the passing game for him. It's like you look around the league and a lot of the tight ends that are really having great success, or the things that really start to show up is when guys play with a quarterback, because there's so many different little nuances and things that happen in the areas of the field they work. So I think the more that he and Baker work together, the better off that relationship will be. And I think you can see some of that starting to show up. The big thing for him is, and at this stage will always be, becoming a complete player. I think he has shown some signs in the running game. There's nothing we're doing that he can't do. I believe that 100%. And he's got to want to do it. I got to be able to get him there, and we're working together to try to get it done. But I do think he's got the ability to ascend, but he's got to cut the dips out.
Well, there you have it, David Njoku, and then John-Lilly, who is the tight ends coach. Jake Burns is with us from cleveland.com. Hey, Jake, when you think about it, there's so many weapons offensively. The tight end, Njoku, is way down the list, and then you realize he can be spectacular also, in addition to his duties as just a blocking tight end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you sort of look at, and the question was asked to David there, when you look at who the weapons are in this offense, it's overwhelming between Jarvis-Landry and Odell-Beckham-Jr. and what Rashard-Higgins is really becoming late last year into this year. It's carrying over. And then you mix in Antonio-Callaway too, and then the two running backs, maybe three running backs if you include Duke Johnson, Kareem-Hunt, and Nick-Chubb. The Browns have a top three, if not the best skill position group in terms of just sheer talent in the NFL. It's overwhelming. And Njoku is kind of the guy that can become forgotten there. I think people forget that he took a really good stride from 2017 to 2018, caught more of the targets that were thrown his way, had 56 catches, 639 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he had a lot better production in terms of the second half of the year, avoiding drops down the field. So I think it's going to be interesting sort of how they're able to use him, continue to take his game to the next level, because I think there are parts of his game that have really taken off in terms of sheer route running ability. But like David said, and the coaches alluded to, he has to be able to run block when asked to run block and not be a problem, because if they want him to be a 3-down tight end, he has to be able to provide those things on occasion. Modern NFL, you want your tight end out running routes because David's great at that, but he has to be able to block in zone and gap schemes when they ask him to do those things.
Jake, put yourself in the shoes of a defensive coordinator on any average given week, if there is such a thing as an average given week. What do you in basketball, you always say, make a guy like LeBron, make him shoot a 3. That's not that he can't do that, but that's what you aim to do. What do you think the opposing defensive coordinator, he's going to look at the Brown situation. He's got to double Beckham, I assume. Sometimes he's got to double somebody else, maybe Jarvis-Landry. But what do you think the defensive coordinator is going to have to do to make his game plan work? What are the stats supposed to look like?
Yeah. So it depends on how they. I mean, this is a lame answer, but it's how your defense is. If you have a cornerback who you feel is good enough to at least play Odell Beckham decently one-on-one, then you would probably try to send help in coverage to somebody like Jarvis-Landry, or send bracket coverage over toward Higgins, who could be a really good player, or if you have weaker linebackers, you would try to help out against David Njoku, or help out sending an extra player into the box against the run game. If you're speaking in general, I do think you have to shade coverage to Odell Beckham. That's a big reason the Browns went out and got him, because you need to be able to devote 2, occasionally 3 defenders, including a linebacker in zone coverage, to take away all of the areas in which he can get the football on the field. You're going to need to try to box Baker Mayfield into the pocket. It's easier said than done, but try to keep him throwing out of the pocket and not doing what he does well when he gets out of the pocket and throws on the run. It's a big part of his game. Try to box him in, and then just sort of stay consistent as you can against the likes of Landry in the slot, or the likes of Higgins down the sideline on the opposite side, or Callaway running deep routes too. But I'm telling you, it's overwhelming. You really have to hope that the Browns just don't figure it out, just don't have a way to put it all together, because they can attack with the group they have that goes 8 deep in terms of really good football players. And that's not to forget the second tight end, Demetrius Harris, who I think is a nice addition out of Kansas City. He can be a really nice pass catcher, 6'8", big guy. It's an overwhelming group. There's a reason the NFL has fallen in love with the Browns, because they see the talent, and it's going to be challenging. Like, the defensive coordinator is going to have to know there are going to be, any given snap, 3 advantages between a one-on-one matchup that the Browns are going to have. They're going to have better play.
That doesn't even account for what happens after the 8th week of the season and the addition the Browns should get if all goes well. I just picture Freddie Kitchen like a mad scientist, coming up with all these different things. He's got the Odell package, he's got the Landry package, he's got all kinds of packages to play with, and I think it's a dream for an offensive coordinator, let alone a head coach.
It absolutely is. Sure. I mean, because Freddie's kind of the multiple roles there. He's going to be calling plays, but you have Todd Monken, who loves to create explosive plays downfield. Freddie did a great job of getting those plays downfield last year, but sort of mitigating and helping his own line. So the pairing of those two should be a really effective pairing between both of them. But yeah, I think they just don't need to overthink it. Run the schemes that you feel comfortable with, and trust these athletes that you have to be able to get open against coverage. I don't think you need to really be too aggressive and trying to target any one player. Run the schemes you have. Once you feel how defenses are trying to cover it, then adjust how often you want to go to certain players. And just, like I said, trust that you got the guys you have, the guys you're paying good money to, the guys you went out and traded for are going to get open against coverage, and the quarterback that you believe in is going to get them the football. You overthink it, you could do too much. Just let those athletes play.